Hi, and welcome to this edition of Crosstalk. I'm your host, Josh Lemons, Jackson Generals beat writer for the Jackson Sun. Alongside me, the voice of the Jackson Generals, Chris Harris. Chris, first half's in the books.
It is, we were kind of talking earlier. It's in a way been kind of a long first half, and in a way it's kind of been it's gone by with a flash as well. Hard to believe 69 games in the books, and the All-Star break is here, and it's really a tale of a couple of different months. Started out April playing really well, won our first 3 series, and went through that stretch at the end of April and May where we went 9-20 and lost 8 series in a row, and then we've closed it out winning 3 consecutive series. So it's been an interesting first half, kind of up and down, a roller coaster. But even though we dropped the last 2 games to Jacksonville, I think you got to feel pretty good about this club, and especially with some potential additions next week.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens after the All-Star break. I know a lot of people are calling DJ Peterson, of course he's the number 1 prospect in the Mariners organization, and there's a lot of speculation that he'll be coming up. But of course, we've got a lot of position players, and it'll be interesting to see where they put everybody, basically. Yeah. I mean, what do you do with 3 first basemen,
Right. Well, you say that I think every year, how's that going to make it work? But it always seems to work its way out, and you're talking about a guy like G-Man Choi gets moved up to AAA Tacoma, Montero goes to Seattle. Let's talk about those guys. I mean, let's start with Dan Paolini. I mean, there's a guy that can play first, can play the outfield, also can serve as a DH, and then you got Pat Kiblahan who can play both the corner positions.
Right.
Peterson can play both the corner positions, plus Mickey Wiswall, very versatile guy as well. So I think there's going to be room, and all those guys we mentioned swinging high bats right now.
Yeah, Kiblahan, that's 24 straight games on base, and batting over 400 this month.
Yeah.
A bat we hadn't really mentioned is Leon Landry.
Right.
He's really only about 278 on the season, but I mean he had that abysmal start where he was batting about 140. He's batting around 388 in the month of June, and really seems to do a good job of not hitting for power, just hitting for contact.
It's amazing. I mean, you look down, and he's got an 8-game hitting streak to close out the first half. 6 of those 8 games, he's had multi-hit games. Yeah. So he's just been that quiet guy in that lineup, and he's done a really nice job. But let's mention the streaks. I mean, you got Kiblahan with a 24-game on-base streak that ties for second longest this season in the Southern League, longest by a general,
and it ties it with Chris Bryant.
Right.
That is a good, that's a good category to be in.
The top prospect for the Chicago Cubs, and then you've got Jamal Austin, who we haven't mentioned yet, who's riding a 14-game hitting streak that right now is tied for the longest in the league this season, longest by a general as well. Since he got to Birmingham, I mean, he's been on a tear as well. So, I mean, the streaks are pretty impressive.
The guy that played at UAB, it was a pretty nice homecoming for him there. He does a great job in the outfield also, covers a lot of territory. He's shorter, but I think he's a shorter version of James Jones. I mean, I really see the speed on the base path, the ability to hit. Jones has a little bit more power, but still, if you're knocking in runs, it doesn't matter if they're going over the fence or if they're gappers, Another one that is very streaky is Kettle Marte.
Right.
I believe you told me that he's had 4. What was the stat? He's had 4 over 9-game hitting streaks.
Over 7, yeah.
Yeah, over 7. So it's like he might miss one day and then he comes right back and starts a streak all over again.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to remind yourself with him, he's just 20 years old. I mean, he's headed to the All-Star game, and he's put together a really good first half. He was very shaky defensively quite a bit, but I thought he finished the half very strong defensively, made some nice plays, turned a great double play in the series finale, started a great double play out there behind second base, and really has flashed the leather a lot, and I think that's the part of the game he's really started to focus on even more. But that bats continue to stay hot. He's kept that average over 300 and stayed in the top 10 in batting in the league.
And you want to talk about his defense, you're exactly right. I've seen a couple Webb Gym worthy double plays that he's started, the typical 6-4-3, but when you see a line drive come at him and he has to spin 360 to get it back to the bag at second and still have time to get it over to first. I mean, it's for 20 years old, he's learning the game pretty quickly, and you have to say that's probably a testament to Horner working with him so much before batting practice.
I think so, and let's stick with the young guys and go to another young guy, and that's Victor Sanchez. I think a lot of Mariner fans are always keeping tabs on Victor Sanchez. I mean, every time he starts, we know how active it is on Twitter with you, with me, and the last 2 outings, his outing in Birmingham, where he goes 6 2/3, and then I mean a complete game shutout. It's a 7-inning game, but still a complete game shutout. 2-hit shutout. I mean that's about as dominant as you'll see at this level. Strikes out 7. I thought he was fantastic.
Over 100 pitches thrown too, which is showing that Lance Painter is working with him. Painter is working with the organization.
Well, he's 100%.
Exactly. Yeah. After that, right on 4. What was it?
Some tightness.
Yeah. He's back to 100%, and he was striking guys out, in the 7th there that were just as dominant to me as in the 1st and 2nd innings.
He struck out Rich Poitras to end the ball game, which was bittersweet on a wicked slider, but his fastball command was very good. He was 90 to 92. The changeup to me has been his best pitch. I mean, he can locate it very well, keeps it low. The curveball and the slider, I thought his slider, he got most of his strikeouts on that pitch, including that last one to Rich Poitras. I think there's a lot of, talking to scouts, talking to people, I think there's some mixed feelings about how big of a prospect he is. And I think since he's still 19, I think the jury's still out. Does he project as a frontline starter? Does he project as a backline starter? Maybe a reliever at some point. But I think it's still early to tell. I think you just need to sit back, relax, and watch this kid because I think he's really special.
Yeah, and I think with the additions of guys like Guape, that's making an appearance in the All-Star game as well. Trevor Miller coming along, Tyler Olson coming along really well. I think that if we see some movement from High A, from High Desert coming up, this is a team that's really poised to make a run in the second half.
I think so too, and I know the numbers for Landazuri weren't good. I don't think really expected him to be maybe that bad, but we weren't expecting him to come out and be terrific his first time back out after missing 2 months. But getting him back, he'll get his velocity back, and he'll be fine as well. Once he gets his pitch count up and once he feels more comfortable on the mound, I think he'll be okay as well.
Well, we've got the first half in the books. Looking forward to the second half. You got a couple days off before you head to Mississippi for 5, and then you come back here for 5. Right. So have a safe trip, and look forward to seeing you back in about 8 days, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of like getting out for fall break or something. I'm kind of in a daze right now of what I'm going to do the next couple of days. So we'll see what happens and enjoy the days off and see what guys get on that bus Thursday morning. We'll see. There could be some changes.
It very well could be. Thanks for tuning in to Crosstalk. That's about all for us. I'm Josh Lemons, Jackson Generals beat writer for the Jackson Sun. Alongside me, Chris Harris, the voice of the Jackson Generals. We'll see you next time.